cue card, your audience, and go.
All right, good afternoon. Ron England. Today I'm going to be discussing with you just for a few moments the importance of voting. As you know, we're getting in the election process here, trying to get us new representation at the federal level, get us a new president. This is coming up here. Specifically, I want to deal with the importance of you as an individual and the importance that you play in the electoral process. Okay, voting is the most important right that we have. I don't know if you all realize that, but voting is your opportunity to speak to government. It allows you to have a voice in how the government is run. However, people discuss the idea, is it a right? Is it an obligation? Or is it a privilege? Now, I believe it is a civic obligation of each individual to go and voice their own opinion through their vote and speak to the individuals that are representing them, whoever that may be. So, what I want to discuss with you is, first of all, I want to give you a brief history of the vote. I discuss a little bit of legislation, a few important acts that have given us the opportunity to participate in the democratic process. A few of the responsibilities that each individual will have when they go out and look to participate and show their voice by their vote, as well as give you a few reasons why it's important for you to vote. Okay? As you know, we are given the right to vote in the First Amendment. President Lincoln in the Gettysburg Address said that he wanted a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Basically, he was talking to each and every individual that says he wanted equal representation in office that was going to be concerned and voice for each individual citizen. Otherwise we would have a monarchy. So in order the vote gives us our democratic process. It makes our country what it is today. Many countries out there don't have the opportunity that we have to have a role in their government. They're dictated to in what they do. But our vote allows us the opportunity to go do this. A few of the landmark pieces of legislation that gives us the opportunity. Number one was the 15th Amendment. 15th Amendment came in 1863, and it allowed the blacks the opportunity to vote. It came from President Lincoln. In 1920, women were allowed to vote, given the right to vote through the 19th Amendment, what we call women's suffrage. Another piece of legislation that came about was the Voting Rights Act of 1965. This was enacted and signed into law by President Lyndon Johnson. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 gave blacks the opportunity to vote. It discriminated. It eliminated Jim Crow laws and the testing that gives people the opportunity to go vote. There was there was nobody at the polling station that was preventing people the right to vote that were blacks at that point. And that came from the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Very important process. Responsibilities that you have as a voter. Number one, you have to register. Each individual has to be registered in order to vote. Another thing that you got to do is you've got to know your candidates. You've got to know what they stand for, what they believe in. You've got to actually look and dig in and be informed on what the issues are and how their views line up with your views. That way you can vote your conscience and have an active role. The next thing that you got to be as a responsible individual when you're getting ready to vote is know where your polling station is. Know when the dates of your primaries are. Know dates of when you are going to need to go vote. Know when the debates are. Participate and watch all those votes. Get your education. The reasons to vote at the local level. It's important for you to be involved at the local level because on voting day, when you go down there, you can cast your vote in order to help determine the legislators of your community. You can vote for your sheriff, see how the police department will run. You can vote on propositions, whether it be for your money, how your dollars will be spent, how much in taxes you will lose, how much in taxes you will spend. Very important that you know all of these things. Another one of the things with your local reason to vote locally is education. Everybody's got a voice in how their dollars are going to be spent with the school system. But that's only by getting out there and giving up your vote. It takes all of about 30 minutes to go do this. On a grander scale, this year we're discussing the presidential elections. We've already gone through debates, probably about 10 or 15 debates as far as for the Republican and the Democrats. So the reasons we want to vote for the presidential election in November is the president has all the power in the world to appoint your Supreme Court justices. Supreme Court justices allow for the president's agenda and platform to really be integrated by being a support force for the agenda for a particular party. So you'll really need to get out there and put in your vote to determine who's going to be president for that reason alone, because they are appointed for life. Supreme Court justices do not have a term. They are in there until they retire or they pass away. So their ideas will frame our government and our policies. The president also has veto powers. If he doesn't like some legislation, he can veto it. It'll go away. At that point, Congress will need to get their act together and put 2/3 vote in order to pass that law through the veto. All of us being military in this room, the president mobilizes troops. He's the one who he influences legislation. He calls us all to war. He can end wars. He cannot declare war. However, he can mobilize the troops into an area where the hostilities are. As I said, most of us being military, I know we've all got missions that go on throughout the year. However, just because we're not here doesn't mean we still can't participate in the electoral process. In order to participate, of course, what I say, we need to be registered. There is a program called the Federal Voting Assistance Program, called the FVAP. Each of your military units has a representative. Our particular representative is the First Lieutenant Cohen. He works over in the S3 shop. So, in order to register through the FVAP program, you'll need to go in and sign up and register through the Federal Postcard Access Form. Basically, this is your absentee ballot request, as well as your request to get your ballot sent to you. Okay. As I said before, the most important thing that we can do as citizens is to vote. When you're needing to contact your elected officials, you reach out through phone, through email. You are not actually discussing anything with your elected official. You're talking to a member of his staff. The only way that you're going to be able to communicate with your elected official is through your vote. A vote will voice your discontent. If you fail to vote, then you were just playing along with the status quo. So I want to request, and I strongly suggest that you all take a look at what the policies are that these candidates are suggesting and what they're discussing on the news, in their debates, and go out there and let your voice be heard. Thank you.